What is up, YouTube? A poor man's guide to Yu-Gi-Oh here. Finally back. It's been way too long since I uploaded a video, maybe like 3 or 4 weeks even. So I've been playing around with this deck, getting ready for my upcoming regional in a couple weeks, and I really do like this build. It's become a lot more consistent over the time I've been editing and working on this deck. I've been working on it for about 3 weeks, and this is about as consistent as I think it's going to get, to be honest. But really fun deck to play. Pendulums are just a great deck. This is Odd Eyes, a little bit of Magic Spectre, and Magician kind of mixed in there. Also, it's got the Draco Slayer engine, so it's a very competitive deck. It's not tier 1, but it's very close. After the next ban list, I think it might be tier 1, depending on if this card will get hit. So I've got a couple duels here recorded from online, so we will just go over those really quickly. So I'm playing first matches against Raid Raptors, go Pendulum Call and set up my scales. Pretty standard stuff, and then Pendulum and go into Absolute. Now, one card that's really underrated, I think, is Oath Dragon Magician, because it just adds stuff back from the graveyard, so you can pitch any card that you can add back. If you were like pitch it with Wisdom Eye or pitch it with Pendulum Call, something like that. Having Oath Dragon is just a very good card, because it helps you just recycle your stuff, even if it is not your X deck. So being able to use from your hand is just very versatile in terms of going against Domain Monarch, something that doesn't let you use your X deck. Very helpful card. So he opens pretty good. He goes into Last Tricks and then ranks up into Ultimate Falcon. So first Ultimate Falcon is always very good, obviously. I tried to negate it, but I couldn't negate it because it's unaffected by card effects. So it's kind of a no-go there. So I'm gonna put all my stuff, build a wall up here, and then get add back my Odd Eyes, since this effect did not go off because it did not negate the attack. So he pops the scale. That was kind of annoying. And then he just makes the mistake of going, this is a floater, which is just a great card. So he destroys this. I'm not really sure why. And then he went, I went to Vortex, and I can't pop this because it's unaffected by card effects. But that was kind of annoying. And then I get a crazy good top deck. Oh my gosh, Joker. And then I get to set up my scales. And then I go into Utopia, and then from there I go into Lightning. But what he does here is, I tried to pop this, the back row here, and I ditched my Odd Eyes, but he ends up Icarus attacking me, so he destroys his own Ultimate Falcon in order to get rid of my Vortex and my Utopia, and I negate that with Vortex's effect, so that's pretty good play there. And then I Pendulum out my last one and hit him for a pretty good chunk of damage, putting him down to 25, and all my monsters lost their attack from Ultimate Falcon's effect. But of course he gets back Ultimate Falcon, because why not? And he runs over my Vortex. So the mistake he made here is that he should have attacked Lightning, because if he would have attacked Lightning, I would have no out to it. But he didn't attack Lightning, and since he Icarus attacked me to start off with, I never really had to detach. So you can see right here, I just run right over it. So that was his mistake that ended up costing him the game. So that's the first one. Let's get on to the next one. On to this next one, I'm playing against a weird type of deck. I'm playing against, it looks like Cosmos and just pure Cosmos, sorry. So I opened a pretty solid hand with Pendulum Call and all that other fun stuff, but I did not really get to set up as good as a board I wanted to. So he just attacks into here, and I'm not really sure what he was really thinking here. And if I was playing this deck right now, I would have gone into Dark Lady, start up on my opponent's turn. But then again, you could just do it during your opponent's turn, because why not? So I get another Pendulum Call, which was just very helpful. I had 2, and then I had to ditch my Odd Eyes Fusion, which was a little bit disappointing, but I ended up putting up a whole bunch of monsters. And this card right here, Utopia Beyond, is like your one out to Cosmos, because it doesn't target, puts all their attack points at 0. And then of course he goes into Dark Destroyer and pops that, so that's kind of disheartening for me a little bit. But Sword Troopers, and then into Dark Lady, and then of course negate that effect, but this will get destroyed. But then again, this card is just so underrated. It's just a great floater card, and this pops back Dark Lady, or bounces it back, sorry. So here, Skyrus is probably one of the best top decks it could have gotten, in my opinion, because Skyrus, of course, is just an amazing field spell. And then I'm going to go Pendulum out another card for defense, and then in the end phase go into Sorcerer, because with Sorcerer I can, go through my scales really easily and boost up my monsters. So to get over this Dark Destroyer. So go into Joker, which is another just great top deck. This card is just amazing. And you know, in terms of things getting hit on this ban list, I don't really see Joker getting brought back or banned, because it's just there. You know, it's not a tier 1 deck yet. Kind of skipped ahead a little bit, but pretty much what I forgot to commentate was you know, I Pendulum that went into Lightning, and for Lightning to be able to get over all the big stuff here and get over the Dark Destroyer. And then what was like really surprising is he didn't do Dark Destroyer's effect in the grave, probably because he thought he was going to negate it. But then he goes and negates Sword Trooper, so it's kind of like he probably should have done that, and then he ends up, you know, losing the game for it. So not really sure what was going on there. So probably because he was thinking he was going to go Soul Charge in the next turn, but he obviously forgot about the Vortex effect, which is just a crazy good card. You shovel back one face-up Pendulum monster in your extra deck and negate monster effect or spell trap card on the field. So it's a very, very good card. Let's go to the next one. The next one here I'm playing against Monarchs. So he has Pantheism and Prime, and you know, he hasn't really drawn any monsters. He bricks pretty hard, and what he does here is he banishes Pantheism, and then he gives, what he gave me was, he gave me a choice. He gave me the 2 Tenacities and 1 Pantheism. So being like a former Monarch player, I know I've done this myself a whole bunch of times where you just bluff having a Monarch in your hands, and I kind of called him on that, and it worked out really well for me because he did not have anything. And Domain Monarchs is not the hardest, but is a harder matchup for this deck, obviously because it's Pendulum based. But given the fact you've got Dragon Pulse and Dragon Pit, you can still easily remove their monsters and special summon from your extra deck. And then I normal summon Raccoon so I can get the search off for Kieran, because Kieran just kills that deck if they don't play March. So, yeah, kill my 2 scales and then get 1 card to draw and search it off. So, for me, what is most recommended if you're playing this deck is what you want to do is you want to go, when you set out your scales with Monkey Board and Lizard Draw, which is what I normally search off Sorcerer, you want to search first, because if you search first, then you will not have that card to draw into, because you could have gotten that card to start out with. So you want to search first, search that card out, and then you have a better chance of getting deeper into your deck by a small percentage, but it's still a better chance. So it might be common knowledge, people, but that's just a better way in order to like play Yu-Gi-Oh! In general, is just search out the card first, and the cards, even if you don't need them, and then draw afterwards. Just an easy way to thin out your deck faster. And then I hit him for a pretty good bunch of damage. He didn't really have any monsters on the field here. And then, of course, on his turn, he happens to, I think he top decks a Monarch. Yep, he top decks Erebus, of course. And then he goes Tenacity, Pantheism, gets some more draw power, and then Edea into Eidos, and then Stormforth me. So the reason I did Kieran effect right here is because I knew he was going to either tribute Kieran or something else here. So I'm just going to activate the effect now, so I can still get it back for next turn from my hands, because in case he plays Domain or something, which he has in his hand, which is very good. So I pop this, and I pop the Edea. So because I don't want them in the graveyard, obviously, because that'd be just bad in general. So he tributes my Dinosaur, which was a little bit disheartening, but I didn't really have any scales to protect, so it wasn't that big of a deal. All I have is my 1 monster here, and you know, he shuffles back Noble Dragon, which is like the best thing he could have hit, because my hand is just amazing, except for that 1 card. So take a pretty good chunk of damage there, not that big of a deal. And then I get to set up my fields here, which is very helpful. And then Hegan's gonna go Aether me, which is just like, oh no, and he tributes it off. So gets out Kuraz, and the problem he does right here is he tries to destroy, he destroys Skyrus, because he was gonna pop my scales, can't pop my scales because of Skyrus. So what he does here, actually he ends up scooping, because he knows he would have lost, because I just would have ended up popping this, and it would have been game from there pretty much, because he only had 1350. On to the final, and by far the longest matchup of anything that I've played in a very, very long time, to be honest. So basically, I'm going to try to do a little bit less commentary and kind of let you guys watch me playing this deck. This was when I was a little bit newer at it, but you know, it's just a really, really crazy long duel, and I really did enjoy it. It was a very long duel. But obviously, I'm playing against Cleese. I get a pretty good starting fields, getting Ignister and Dinoster. I hate going into Ignister first turn because stuff like that can happen when we get spot back. But obviously, or bounce back, which is not that big of a deal. But then look at this back row. We've got skill drain and lose one turn. It's like the most difficult board ever for pendulums, to be honest. So you know, with Cleese, it's a pendulum based deck, obviously, but it's like they're outplaying me so badly right now. And then skill drain, of course. So it's like I have no monster effects, and whenever my special summon monsters hit the field, they automatically get placed to defense mode. So it's like, what can I do? Because nothing really has high defense except for Dinoster. So I already went into that, and all this stuff gets changed to defense position. But since Master is a normal monster, it is not affected by lose one turn. So that's a very, very helpful card in my opinion. This normal monsters, but there's nothing that's really strong that's normal monster that can help me get over this stuff. So my strategy here was to keep have a perform pub monster in my hand and then keep an odd eyes monster in the field, because what Unicorn's effect is you can, once an odd eyes monster declares an attack, you can have it gain the attack of a face up perform pub monster you control. So you could have Rebellion attack, and then it would gain 1800 if you had face up Joker. So that was my plan. That was what I was trying to do. And he's just going off top decks, but he's hitting me for a pretty good chunk of damage, and he sees my strategy. Obviously, he's getting rid of the bigger threats, but I'm just trying to spam the field with odd eyes so I can you know, try to just do my best. And all this stuff ends up getting negated, so that's kind of disheartening. I thought I would have gotten Oath Dragon's effect off, but Utopia Beyond gets negated too. I just picked it because it's high defense. Probably a waste of a couple cards, though, in my opinion. And then, of course, he gets another lose one turn, and he's also got this crazy card which lets you. This card ends up saving him a little farther back, but right now I am not in the greatest situation, obviously. I've got all this stuff in my extra deck, which is great. I can keep, you know, building a wall until I get to those certain cards, which I wasn't really sure what I was trying to get to. And I've got a decent hand too, but it's not like I can use the effects. So I pendulum out my other stuff. I try to keep odd eyes on the field, and then I'm trying to build a wall with Dragon Pit because he can't get over it. So he takes out my two odd eyes monsters, obviously. And I get Draco face off, but I already used all my Dracos, so it's kind of a useless card for me. So that's kind of disheartening for me. But he goes straight into battle phase after adding stealth with duality, and my wall is just getting bigger and stronger, so that's good for me, I guess. I tribute this, and then I go into absolute. So what this basically gives me as a board, it gives me 3 odd eyes monsters, which means that thinking that he has no scales and he has no way to get out more Cleese, that I will have 1 odd eyes monster survive this battle phase, which is the main goal. But that didn't happen, obviously. So that got destroyed, and the thing that saved me was the fact that absolute is a floater. So I got back Vortex Dragon, and then I can finally get rid of a couple monsters. So I summon Joker, switch to attack mode, pendulum summon all my crazy monsters out, and then I go into battle phase and use the unicorn effect. What I forgot was that it's only once while this card is in the pendulum zone. So that was a little bit disheartening, obviously, because I couldn't really do anything. So I just let my monsters get run over and kind of start back from the beginning. Even though it doesn't seem like I'm winning in terms of life points, I am winning. He's winning in field advantage, obviously, just like badly. And I'm just going to keep pendulum summon out my stuff, trying to keep same strategy out. So I tried here to do the same effects, but I forgot about it. But I beat it over anyways, so that was good. And then I got another odd eyes monster, a Light Phoenix, but you know, so that gets destroyed. And this effect was great. I completely forgot about this effect, but basically when Rebellion gets destroyed, you can put it in your pendulum zone, or yeah, your pendulum scale, and then once per turn you can put a card directly from your deck into your scale, which is very, very helpful. So that ended up coming in like super clutch for me, so I did that, and then I ended up popping it with Skyris and searching Odd Eyes Fusion, so that comes in a little bit later because it's the only card I could search with it. I went through everything else. So you've got 1 unicorn, 2 unicorn, and then all my Odd Eyes monsters. There's 1, and there's 1 right there, and there's a bunch in my graveyard, so there's the other 2. That's every Odd Eyes monster I have, so I had to search Fusion with it anyways, but that's okay because I got rid of the annoying 4 scale. And then he goes into Skybase, and then eventually here I'm kind of like, I'm screwed, completely screwed. You search a Scout, goes into Skybase, and they takes my Light Phoenix, and it's like, what am I gonna do now? So did not take any battle damage. I don't really know why. And then of course he top decks Rivalry, so that just makes it even harder for me. Oath Dragon, and then I get to finally get rid of that stupid lose 1 turn card, which is just the most obnoxious card possible. And I pendulum out all my other stuff, but of course I can't get over it. I go into Ignister, but what the main part of that was just to get rid of the scale. I thought I could spin this away, but I couldn't, because it's like it freaking towers. It's an annoying card. So there's nothing I could really do there. And look at all the cards in his hand. He's gonna OTK me, obviously. But something he like forgot or did wrong. I don't really know what happens here, but he's getting all my monsters, and I pop him back, and then he hits me for 33. And the Pendulum Call saves my scales, which is a very, very great card to have. I would have forgot about that if I wasn't playing online. So I'm down to 1,100 life points, and he is at 87. And I'm kind of like, oh wow, I'm screwed. So I pitch it, and I pop the Rivalry. I was gonna pop them. I popped the monster, but didn't really end up happening. And then I pendulum out all my monsters, go into Utopia, go into Lightning, beat over the big monster. Finally, Skybase is gone. Hit him for 22, and then hit him for 17, and he's all the way down. And then I set my Magical up for a little bit of defense. He goes into here, and then he goes Terraforming, Shell, and then he sets Shell, and I pop it with Kieran. So he could, I don't know why he did not pendulum summon. He could have pendulum summoned. I don't know if there was like some card that wouldn't let him pendulum summon, but that ended up costing him the game. So attacked him right there, and that was game. So let's get into the deck profile really quickly. Alright, so into this deck profile very quickly. It is a pretty solid budget deck in terms of being like a tier 1.5, but pretty standard stuff. You've got triple Dragon Pit, double Master. You don't play more than 2 Master. It's pretty standard stuff. 1 Dragon Pulse comes in handy card. 1 Apex Avian. Now, if you look online or you look at events that's topped like the ARG and stuff like that, people are playing triple Avian. Now, my deck is not based on Avian. I honestly don't like Avian as a card. It's good. It's got high attack, obviously. It can negate anything, but it's not a pendulum monster. So, you know, it might become a disadvantage for you at some point, but not really. I really, really just don't like the card. I ended up cutting it on my final build. So what this ended up being, instead, I believe it was second Terraforming, or was an Upstart. I really just took it out. I didn't really need it, to be honest. It just wasn't a card that I felt like I needed to play all that badly. It is a nice level 7 to have, but you know, it's an expensive card, and it's not something I really need to play. Triple Odd Eyes. This is kind of different from other people that have topped. People are playing 1. You play 3 in this build. This is built on rank 7 play. Rank 7 spam, big monsters. This is a more defensive build. I know I'm saying that without Apex, but it's a pendulum-based defensive build that's fast and can search, which is just the point of this deck. Fast, defensive, and offensive when it has to be. 1 Shaggy Magician. My bump this 2. Great card. Negates light effect. Very, very helpful. 2 Oath Dragon. I'm not playing 3 because I just couldn't really find room for it. I guess you could take out Apex, but I do find clogging in this deck. You will end up with too many low scales and have nothing to play with, obviously, because these are low scales, these are low scales, these are low scales, these are low scales. All these are low scales. all the way up into here, and even Abductor's low scales. So you're only running, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 2 odd-eyes unicorn. So, it's not that many low scales you need to have, or that's too many low scales, sorry, not enough high scales. So, cut it to 2. Great card for recycling, though. Triple Kieran, just amazing card, broken, obviously. Can't be destroyed once per turn, and then it can pop stuff, which is good. You can pop back your Joker, or bounce back. I always get those wrong. Bounce back your Joker and all that fun stuff. 1 monkey board, great card. A little bit annoying if you don't have another perform pile. Kind of can screw up your scales a little bit, but not that big of a deal. 1 light phoenix, just for another target for Skyers, and it's a perform pile, so it's a searchable low scale, which is something we have been needing for a little while. It's a very good card to have. 1 Lecter for face off, never really use it. 1 Luster, pretty standard. You play the 4 Draco Slayers and the 1 face off. 1 Joker, pretty standard. Triple Abductor, because this card is good. Basically what you need to do is you need to activate Abductor. You need to go, if you've got Skyrus in your hand, you activate Skyrus. That's 1. Put another random card from your hand in your pendulum scale, pop it, so that'd be 2. And then with the search, you want to search out Unicorn, put Unicorn in the scale, and that'd be 3. And then you can search off any card in this deck, any pendulum monster. So it's a very, very good card to have. 1 Wisdom Eye, pretty standard. Helps with Perform Pals and with Magician, so very good card to have. Double Sorcerer, don't play 3. Don't need to play 3. There's not that many Perform Pals. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 6. I guess you can consider this too, but it's not that many. Don't need it that badly. 1 Raccoon, just for the sole purpose of being able to search out Kieran. It's a $30 card. You don't really need to play it, but you should. It's a high scale. It can be very, very versatile at times. I got the 1 Loser Draw. Love this card. Draw that 1 card is very important. And it helps with just draw power if you're playing like the wall game where you're trying to just build a wall and keep yourself alive. This helps with that. Noble Dragon. I hate this card, to be honest, but it's necessary if you want to go into your extra deck that much, so you need this card for sure. Double Unicorn, bump this to 2. Great card. This card is so underrated. I love this card so much. Being able to beat over monsters, being able to gain life points, being a searchable high scale that's a performer pal, and an odd eyes. It's just a great card in general. The only problem is it's level 1, so but you can always add it back with Oath Dragon, so it's very good. 1 Odd Eyes Fusion, $20 card, $25 card. Kind of expensive, but can save you if you don't have any monster on the field. Being able to use extra deck stuff as a material is just great. Triple Pendulum Call, great card. This might get hit. If it gets hit, not the end of the world. This deck will probably fall to tier 2 if it does, but that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. 1 Terraforming, don't play more than 1 because you only play 2 Skyers. So 1 Draco Face Off, obviously great card, and then 2 Skyers, pretty self-explanatory. Extra deck, 1 Dynastor, 1 Vortex, 1 Ignister, 1 Meteor Bursts, 1 Rebellion, a double Absolute because it's a floater, and a great card. 1 Red Eyes, Flare Metal for burn damage, 1 Big Eye for just stealing monsters. This card, so underrated. 2 level 7s. What you can do is special summon, detach the special summon 1 normal spellcaster type monster from your deck, straight from the deck. So if you have it at level 7, you can special summon this from your deck, or you can special summon this from your deck. And then when that monster battles a monster, you can target 1 face-up card your opponent, or 1 card, it doesn't have to be face-up, 1 card your opponent controls, and banish it. It does target, which is the only downside, but it's a very, very good card to have. And then that card, if you're battling a monster, it will replay the attack, and you can attack right through if you only have 1. 1 Utopia Beyond, great card, lower the attack. Cosmo Killer, 1 Utopia Lightning, and 1 Utopia, and then 1 Dark Rebellion Exceeds Dragon, and 1 Castel. So this is a longer video just because I need to put some more work in. It's been way too long since I uploaded. So sorry about that. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed all the duels and the deck profile. If you want more stuff like this, just let me know. I'd be happy to do it. It's really fun for me to do. And comment what deck you want me to do next. So yeah, thank you for watching.